Hi everybody, Demiheals here. Sorry for the late upload. It's gonna be a little late at this point. But today we're gonna be taking a look at Cybertron Scattershot. So, as I mentioned with my Classics Grimlock, the two main sources I had of Transformers as a kid was Cybertron and Classics. So Cybertron holds a big place in my heart when it comes to Transformers. So, let's go ahead and talk about Scattershot here. So Scattershot is Scout class, I believe it was called during the time, essentially Legend scale about, that sort of 3.5 inch. And we're going to be starting with vehicle mode just because that's how I filmed the transformation. So, talking about this little tank mode, it looks tiny for a tank, but also pretty nice. The blue that the main body is cast in looks really nice with the accents of the yellow and the silver and the black on the roof of the car. Not to mention the dark blue plastic that the turret itself is in is very nice itself. The firing mechanism on the back is really nice. And I love how it's just a tiny tank. Not every tank has to be massive. We'll get to a massive tank in a future review. Trust me, I'm going to review that thing. But tiny tanks are also really nice. So, being a Cybertron figure, this does have a gimmick to it, a very nice gimmick in fact, of the Cyber Planet key. Putting that into the back of the turret opens up a little folding flap that reveals, behold, more missiles. Sadly, these ones don't fire, but really nice missiles there. Then there's also a little port on top that his hand weapon for robot mode can actually plug into to give even more weapons for this little tank. It's a lovely little thing, and I also love how the underside of the figure manages to avoid the classic I can see your head poking out with some nice cover-up. It even has a little Autobot insignia down there. But of course, a tank mode is not just a tank mode when we're talking Transformers, we have to talk transformation too. So without any further ado, let's get into the first transformation of this thing, getting to the robot mode. Alright, so here we have the robot mode for Scattershot. And Scattershot, again, for being a small figure, manages to sort of expand out a little bit compared to his small little tank mode. Granted, he is still a small character, just not filmed, but just when I was recording this, he's about 1.5 times the size of a microcassette. He's pretty small. And he actually is really fun for his size class. To be honest, the roof of the vehicle doesn't really tab in too well, but it's still pretty nice, and if you're just posing him, it's not that big a deal. And one lovely thing about this robot mode that you can do, his turret can actually flip up, so he can be firing forward as if he's directly getting into the offensive. He also can, of course, hold his little weapon. And overall, the figure, okay, this is 2005 engineering. We've seen from the live-action movie toys of the first movie, the engineering on these guys, not the best, but it's still a decent figure. Posability-wise, though, definitely not. This guy features a swivel at the head, arms are on a rotation and can move out, the shoulder turrets are on a ball joint, and there is a ball joint at the elbow. Other than that, no more arm articulation. And legs are essentially on struts. They only have outward-facing joints at the hips, and bends inward at the knee, not in any realistic position, just because of the unfortunate nature that this guy purely was only given legs for the transformation, not for posability. He does, however, have articulated feet, though, technically. Not really, though. He's also, again, a pretty small boy. Here he is with Cybertron Thundercracker, with his fellow Autobots Hotshot and Red Alert, and of course with my previous review, Classic Grimlock. Now, if you know anything about the Cybertron show, or Galaxy Force as it was in Japan, you would know that Scattershot, as well as Hotshot and Red Alert, famously died. They straight up got killed. However, because it's a kid's show, they're not going to let those guys stay dead. Who do they think these are? Prime Cliffjumper? Sorry, I made myself laugh at that one. Anyways, he did get resurrected into a larger form of Cybertron Defense Scattershot. And, taking a look at Cybertron Defense Scattershot, because this is going to be a Scattershot duo video, why not? Scattershot here, definitely a glow up from the previous figure. He's a lot bulkier and a lot heavier, and definitely buffs up to sort of be the missile guy, where he was in his scout mode. He has two giant missile arms just attached to his arms, and that also is, fun fact, where his cyber key gimmick is. One side features an opening gimmick that creates a double missile launcher with firing missiles that, granted, not the best of missiles, but they fire about the same level as Scattershot base's missiles. And then on the other side, it opens up to reveal a big ol' gun. Sadly, no firing gimmick, but a big ol' gun nonetheless. And there's even a joint inside there to allow it to shift down on the arm so he can hold that gun like it's one of his normal ones. Of course, he does come with a gun himself to wield, though it's, honestly, kind of small compared to the big ol' cyber key gun, but it's still a fun little gun nonetheless. Posability on this guy is also pretty good. Again, a swivel at the head, but due to transformation, he can look up a little bit. Does break the sculpt, though. Arms are on a really nice rotation, a nice ratcheted rotation as well, and can move out on a similar ratchet. Bend at the elbows, and sadly no wrist articulation other than folding in for the transformation. The figure actually has a waist swivel, which I was surprised to remember. I hadn't played with this guy for a while. Features legs that can both bend forward and back, and a beautiful spread. Not to mention having some very nice ratcheted knee joints. And a toe bend. A toe bend and a moving ankle guard, which is real nice. Again, for size comparisons, here he is with Cybertron Thundercracker, with Cybertron Defense Hotshot and Red Alert, to see what I did there, seen with original Cybertron Scattershot for scale, and with Classic Grimlock. And of course, it's a Transformer. We all know what's coming up next. I'll let you fill in the details. Let's watch this. Alright, and here we are with Cybertron Defense Scattershot in his tank mode as well. I don't really know what else to call this thing. It's definitely a big tank. It's very nice. The missiles combine together to create a giant missile launching platform, and due to the transformation, do actually allow for a rotating missile launcher. So he can point off to the side, which is amazing. Though, sadly, if you angle it up too much, I'm actually holding the figure while I'm recording the audio, his head does poke out there, but it's not that big a deal. Honestly, I am not that concerned about seeing the head. It's a 2006 toy. I'm expecting about that level of quality. There are Minicon ports on the side, and of course the Cyber Key gimmicks are both also still there. The one fun thing about this, sorry for that little spike, that was me dropping the gun during recording. One lovely thing about this is that the missile launcher has a hole, or the gun that he wields has a hole on the side that allows you to plug that in on one of the Minicon ports so he can hold his weapon in vehicle mode. Of course, you can also, flip out a hand and plug it on there, but that doesn't look right. We know that doesn't look right. All in all, a pretty excellent figure. I love the way this tank mode looks, and I also love these little teeth guards at the front, almost like he's daring you to try to play him in a game of chicken. Again, here he is with Cybertron Thundercracker, with his fellow Cybertron defense team, and with Classics Grimlock. So, all in all, for these two figures, I would get them as a set if you like Cybertron. I'm going to be honest, Cybertron as a series, I am super partial to and totally not unbiased in any sense of the term. I am so biased for Cybertron to a point where on my current setup for my shelves, which, again, it's going to be needing a sorting with some of the new stuff coming in, I straight up have a Cybertron shelf that is just Cybertron, nothing else, a display of the Autobots and a display of the Decepticons, and I'm realizing I did not keep, like, any of my Cybertron Decepticons. All of it is Autobots. But, in terms of this figure, if you can find him at a garage sale, off of eBay, something like that, at a decent price, I'd get him. They're awesome figures, though they do show their time quite a bit. I believe that the Cybertron Scattershot was also recolored to be a movie drop shot, I think? Whatever the case is, this mold has been used for more than just Scattershot, and it's a lovely mold. I love it so much. I hate the fact I got rid of my old one, but I got a new one back recently, so I'm so happy I did. And if you want to grab one, please, go find it. It's worth hunting for. Even if you can't find it as Scattershot, if you can find it as Dropshot or whatever he was called, totally worth it. Go get him. He's a great figure. If I had to give a number scale, 8 out of 10. Honestly, it's not going to be called a masterpiece or anything, but it's a good figure. I like him. And honestly, if you can find a toy that you like, sweet, go for it. Okay, thank you guys for watching. Again, sorry that this is so delayed, and sorry that this audio is going to be super obviously off-the-cuff improv. I'm going to be honest, I had a lot of boxes show up that I wasn't expecting to show up all at the same time, so this week got thrown out the wazoo because I had so much stuff to look at, and definitely a lot of reviews coming in future that will be more scripted and will be a little bit higher quality than this one. This one's going to be a little bit lower quality than I'd want, just because I'm still in shock at some of the other stuff. If you saw my announcement that this video was going to be late, you did see that I got pretty much all of Assaultus, the third-party Bruticus figure. That's definitely coming in future reviews. Probably going to split it up by individual, and then cover Assaultus himself with the Onslaught, or, sorry, Incursus. Sorry, I'm looking over to make sure I say all the names right. I honestly might cover Probus next, the Brawl of the team, just because, hey, you want to see a tank? We'll go tanks. I may also do, I don't know, maybe an Optimus Prime, maybe something like that. If you want to see anything like that, let me know, please. If there's something you guys want to see, if you saw it on my shelf, let me know. I will gladly do a review of it. But most importantly of all, thank you guys for watching. Feel free to subscribe, drop a like, drop a comment, and have a great rest of your day, everybody. Bye!